In this video, we will demo the Ears-Ctrl tool for generating controllers directly from English or from an English-like language called Ears. The first thing I will do is that we will show the machine that we want to control. It's a liquid mixer. It will mix two different liquids. So it will essentially load the first liquid from this valve up until it reaches a first level. Once that is done, it will load the second liquid up until the second limit is reached. Once that is done, it will stir the two liquids together using a motor for 1 minute. And once that is done, it will open the valve for 2 minutes for the liquids to be drained. So we can see here already that we have a number of things that we need to control. So we have the buttons, we have the valves, and we have the sensors, and also the motor. So if we turn our attention to the Ears-Ctrl tool now, we have here the glossary. So the glossary essentially defines the terms that we're going to use to define our requirements. So we have already here a bunch of them that are defined that I've mentioned before. We have the buttons, the sensors, the valves, the stirring motor, and the timers, but we still need one more that we haven't defined, so we can do that now. We need the emergency button. And I'm going to say it's an emergency button. Okay, so what does an emergency button do? So it gets pressed, so we have to say that we can add it here and say that it senses being pressed. Okay, so now that we've added this term, we can go on to defining our requirements. We already have a set of requirements here for the liquid mixer controller. I will not go through all of them because they're written in English, so they're self-explanatory, but I can just point out the first one, for example, where we say that while the liquid level of first load cycle is less than level L1, and when the start button is pressed, then the liquid mixer should open valve 0. So this corresponds to the first loading of the first liquid. So we actually see that actually throughout all these requirements there's one that is missing here, which is for the emergency button. So we'll just add that. So I will just add a new requirement here. I'll give it a name, and when the emergency button is pressed, the liquid mixer shall do a number of things, 4 things. So I'll just add here a number of AND formulas, and I will fill them out. So it shall close valve 0, close valve 1, close valve 2, and stop the stirring motor in case it's running. We can now attempt to generate a controller directly from these requirements, so we will do so by using an intention, and we can see here that the controller has been generated as a model. We can also take a look at it inside and see it as a synchronous data flow diagram. We'll now generate the simulation panel by applying an intention, and we can see here that the panel has been generated. We can take a look at it. We have 2 views here. We have a step view where we can provide inputs to stimulate the controller that we've just generated. We can select them here. Or we have a test case view where we build test cases. We have a few parameters to set here. So we have the depth of the test cases, or their length, whether we allow repeated inputs in the same test case or not, and whether we allow simultaneous inputs in the same input vector. Now that let's put this to false to get a smaller test set, and we can press execute to generate the test set. And here we have the result of the test case generation. Each test case has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. So each input output is a step. We can take a look at these. For example, not all of them make sense in the sense that they're not necessarily sequentially organized as what the controller would be expecting. But for example, here we can see that when the liquid level of first load cycle equals level L1, we have that the valve 1 opens, which is what we're expecting. We can browse a little bit further, and we can actually see here that, for example, when the 1 minute timer expires, then we have three things that happen: that the 1 minute timer starts, the 2 minute timer starts, and the stirring motor starts. So one of these things is wrong actually. So when the 1 minute timer expires, then we don't want it to start again. So this seems to be an unwanted behavior. So if we go back to the requirements and we take a look here, that when the 1 minute timer expires, then we actually have that the stirring motor starts, the 1 minute timer starts, and the 2 minute timer starts. So this is actually an error in the specification that we just detected using test case generation.